Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I am Yogesh.
And I'm Lily. You're listening to episode 7 of our series on internal communication strategies. Today's topic, feedback loops and listening mechanisms.
Such an important topic. Internal communication is often seen as a one-way street. Leaders broadcast and employees are expected to receive.
But real communication is a dialogue. If you're not listening, you're just making announcements.
Exactly. Without listening mechanisms in place, even the best crafted internal messages can fall flat.
So in this episode, we're going to unpack why feedback loops matter, types of listening mechanisms, how to design effective feedback systems, how to act on feedback and close the loop, tools, platforms, and cultural considerations.
Let's start with the why. Why are feedback loops essential in internal communication?
Because they build trust. When employees feel heard, they feel valued. And when you act on what they say, you build credibility.
Right. Feedback loops also make communication dynamic. You don't just transmit information, you evolve it with the input from the people it affects.
It's like continuous co-creation. And that makes strategies more resilient, culture more inclusive, and morale more grounded.
I often tell leaders, the people closest to your customers or systems have insights you can't afford to miss. But you'll only get them if you ask, listen, and respond.
So, what are the types of listening mechanisms we can put in place?
We can divide them into three categories: formal feedback systems, real-time or continuous listening, culture-driven informal mechanisms.
Let's walk through each one, starting with formal feedback systems.
These are structured methods like employee engagement surveys, 360-degree reviews, pulse checks, town hall Q&A follow-ups, exit and stay interviews.
They're useful for capturing trends at scale, but they can feel impersonal if overused or not acted upon.
Exactly, which is why we complement them with real-time listening tools.
Like always-on feedback channels?
Yes, for example, Slack channels for feedback or Ask Me Anything sessions, anonymous suggestion boxes, one-question polls, digital whiteboards or employee apps, open office hours.
These allow for quick inputs and ongoing dialogue. And then we have the third, culture-driven informal mechanisms.
These are about embedding listening into everyday routines. Think managers regularly asking, what's working for you? Teams starting meetings with temperature checks, leadership walking the floor or joining virtual stand-ups, peer support or employee resource groups surfacing insights.
So it's not just about tools, it's about a listening mindset.
Exactly. Tools support listening, but the culture makes it real.
Let's talk about designing effective feedback loops. What makes a feedback system meaningful?
Three elements: accessibility, easy to use, inclusive for everyone; psychological safety, people feel safe sharing honest input; follow-through, leaders respond, act, and close the loop.
That last one is so critical. If people give feedback and nothing happens, you train them to disengage.
Yes, listening without action is worse than not listening at all. So leaders must acknowledge, synthesize, and respond visibly.
Let's say a team raises concerns about workload during a survey. What does closing the loop look like?
It could sound like this. We heard from 68% of you that workload has become unsustainable. We are reviewing resourcing, adjusting project timelines, and piloting meeting-free Fridays. We'll report back in 4 weeks with outcomes.
That's powerful. It shows that you're listening, acting, and looping back.
Exactly. And even if you can't solve every issue, showing transparency builds trust.
Let's touch on the role of managers in feedback loops.
Managers are the bridge between leadership and teams. They should be trained to actively seek input, document themes, and escalate insights appropriately.
I've seen teams use retrospectives at the end of projects. That's a form of structured listening too.
Yes, and those insights often contain gold, ideas for better systems, clearer processes, stronger collaboration.
Now, what about tools and platforms? What's working well in organizations today?
Some popular ones include Office Vibe, Culture Amp, Peakon for surveys and pulse checks, Slido or Poll Everywhere for live Q&A in town halls, Miro or Mural for feedback during workshops, Yama or Teams or Viva for ongoing conversations.
But again, it's not the tool, it's the intent and follow-through.
Right. Fancy dashboards don't replace deep listening. You need humility, curiosity, and commitment.
Let's talk briefly about biases in feedback. How can we make sure that we're hearing from everyone, not just the loudest voices?
That's a key point. Use multiple channels, anonymous, group, one-to-one, in writing and in conversation. Disaggregate data by demographics to spot gaps and invite quiet voices intentionally.
Love that. What's one common mistake you see with feedback loops?
Collecting feedback as a checkbox exercise. Leaders sometimes treat it like a task, not a relationship. But listening is ongoing. It's leadership behavior, not just a survey cadence.
This is a great moment to shift to some real-world examples. Have you seen companies do this well?
Yes, one global logistics company implemented a Voice of the Operator program. Every quarter, frontline workers shared stories and ideas with the executive team. Some of those ideas led to process changes that saved millions, and engagement scores skyrocketed.
That's so motivating. Another example I recall, a startup that ended all hands with a 5-minute "you said we did" update. It showed that they weren't just listening, they were acting.
Exactly. That visibility builds culture.
Let's summarize our actionable takeaways.
Sure. Um, Design multiple listening channels, formal, real-time, informal. Train managers to be listening champions. Make it safe to speak up. Track themes and act visibly. Close the loop and communicate outcomes.
And if you're just getting started, begin small. Ask one question. What's one thing that would make your work easier? Then listen and act.
That's it. Small shifts sustained consistently create a listening culture.
Coming up next in episode 8, we'll be exploring communicating during organizational change.
Thank you, Lily. And to our listeners, remember, listening is leadership. If you found this episode of Corporate Communication useful, don't forget to join us, leadershipacademy.tagbizzsutra.com. Do share it with your friends and colleagues and leave your review. Until next time, trust, clarity, feedback really come into play.